Michael, thanks for talking to me again. So Con Mom has been offered bail. That's the latest. Con Mom offered bail of $50,000 by authorities in Singapore, but says she doesn't have anyone to bail her out.
That's true. Great to see you again, Michelle. I mean, this is an interesting story. It keeps evolving. Uh, as you said, she's here in Singapore. She's been remanded. She appeared via video link for the court. They set bail of 50,000 Singapore dollars. Subtract a third to get to US dollars. We're talking maybe 35,000. Here's a woman who has conned people out of so much money, and she says, I don't have money for bail.
And she wasn't represented by a lawyer during her state court appearance either. So Dionne Marie Hanna was asked by Judge Brenda Tan here in Singapore if she had a bailer and replied she didn't have anyone. And Dionne Marie Hanna, or Con Mom, was described to have spoken in a soft voice. I wonder if she's contrite, if the reality has sunk in for her. That remains to be seen. She was last seen in Singapore for a court hearing yesterday. That's April 17th. But this time she appeared in this court hearing via video link, no longer from her Tan Tock Seng hospital bed, where she first appeared in Singapore state courts. Remember that? She first appeared, Michael, in the courts via video link. She was wearing a striped T-shirt from a hospital bed. But this time round, she appeared via video link still, but from Central Police Division. So what we know is that she's been discharged from the hospital April 10th, this according to media reports. But of course, if she can't cough up bail, then she's going to stay in remand.
Yeah, I mean, and as you mentioned, she spoke so softly, her voice was soft, that the judge several times asked her to repeat what she was saying because the judge couldn't hear her. And we don't know if it's because she's ill or sad or just realizes that this whole con game has come to an end. You know, and I'll tell you a thing that struck me. She was in Singapore, according to these charges, for a period of about 1 month. And during that time, she flew to France. So she had money to go from here to France and back again. But now she doesn't have money for bail. And she supposedly conned people out of something like 500,000 Singapore dollars, which is twice the amount that the police initially reported when the story first broke.
Right. So as the investigations unfold, maybe we'll see more victims coming forward. What we know is that Con Mom is facing 5 counts of fraud by false representation, 4 offenses involving 3 victims, while she was, as you mentioned, both here in Singapore and France, and that was between a time period of February 13th and March 10th, so about a month. Her modus operandi stayed the same, right? Using the power of persuasion really to try to dangle that lure for people of, hey, you might come into a large inheritance. All you have to do is, in essence, transfer to Con Mom large sums of money for things like legal fees or to fund the opening of overseas bank accounts. Or, you know, in one instance, I came across a report where she asked for legal fees. So she herself, because she claimed to have links with the Brunei royal family, that she herself could receive her inheritance.
Yeah, I mean, for people who are just tuning into the story, I mean, she's basically used the same scam, it seems, for years now. She claims she's the illegitimate daughter of the Sultan of Brunei. And Brunei is just a short plane flight from here in Singapore. She also says that she's ill, terminally ill with cancer or something else, and says, I will leave my inheritance to you. So that's one of the scams. Another is she meets someone and says, oh, I think you have a great business. I will invest in it. In both cases, she'll say, I will give you the money when my inheritance comes, but in the meantime, I need you to help me with X, Y, and Z, whether it's paying for fees in a hotel or opening a bank account or lawyer fees. And that's how she gets this money coming in. In one case that she's charged with here in Singapore, she was going to donate something like $3 million to a mosque and then another $2 million to an NGO, to a charity associated with it, a charity that helps ex-offenders. We can talk about that a bit more in a moment. But, you know, there she's promising to donate $5 million, but in exchange, you have to give her something, and that's where the scam is.
So I took a walk around Tan Tock Seng Hospital. This would have been the digs of Dionne Marie Hanna, much less fanciful than the hotels that we saw her, cavorting around in Conmum, the fabulous Netflix documentary. Or even here in Singapore, she was said to have hung out at the Hyatt, on 10 Scots Road. A very different feel. Although I have to say, as a Singaporean, I think our hospitals look amazing. She had a brief stay here, has since been discharged, which makes me wonder, if she was indeed a cancer patient, wouldn't they have figured that out and held her for much longer if she indeed had a chronic health condition?
Well, I think she has health issues of some sort, both physical and perhaps mental. Physical, I mean, she was on diabetes medicine or high blood pressure medicine, if I recall correctly from the Netflix documentary. But at that point, they didn't see any signs of cancer. But we don't know that for sure. But like you say, she has been discharged from hospital. One of the guys that she conned during her stay here in Singapore, she met with him at the Grand Hyatt. Okay, so very nice hotel. She's facing very different lodgings now. If she is convicted, she can be jailed for up to 20 years, fined or both on each count of fraud. So she's facing 5 counts. That could be 100 years in a Singapore jail, and she's already 84 years old.
Well, this is what we know about her last appearance. She appeared via video link from the Central Police Division, which you see here, sort of in the heart of Chinatown. Just amazing. I can't imagine what's going through a victim's mind. So one victim, Muhammad Arifin Muhammad Kamaluddin, said in court documents that Hannah had claimed to be terminally ill with cancer, wanted to donate, as you said, millions to that mosque and another 2 million to an NGO that would help prison inmates. A little
I was
eerie
looking up
that
that
she wanted
NGO,
to help
Michelle.
prison inmates, yeah, and is now facing jail time herself.
Yeah, I mean, so there's an NGO, right, which it helps people who either are coming out of prison, or it helps people essentially saying this is what prison is like. They have a mock prison cell to give visitors an insight into prison life, and they have a preventative drug education program, essentially to tell people, hey, don't take that route, don't end up in jail. So I mean, it's a great effort, and here she is promising she's going to give millions to it, and it was a scam. I mean, so she scammed she scammed different people, she scammed individuals, and she scammed charities. And it's really sad.
I know. It's so deeply ironic that she was going to support this program, which would have given people a full brush with jail. And here she is. How long could she actually spend in jail? A lifetime. Because for each charge of fraud by false representation, Hannah or Conmom could be jailed for up to 20 years, fined, or face both. So just to wrap things up, when we next see her, when we'll next update you, is around May 16th, because that's when her case right here in Singapore moves to a pre-trial conference.
All right. Thank you, Michelle. I mean, one other thing I saw online, which I've kind of been wondering, is how does her son Graham feel about all this, right? Because this Netflix documentary essentially tracked his experience and how he, reunited with his mother and then was conned by her. And I saw at least one report saying that he's glad that she's been arrested.
Well, I think victims here in Singapore will be glad as well when we see justice handed out. And we'll keep you posted, of course, on all that's unfolding right here in Singapore as soon as we hear news of it. Two journalists can't stop talking about this case since we've watched the fabulous Netflix documentary. Michael, thanks so much for joining me.
Hey, thank you, Michelle.